So here we are, going to be playing a little bit of Eve. I don't know why I'm doing this, just felt like it, I guess. Stuck in lockdown as a lot of people in Australia and New South Wales are, so I got bored and decided that, you know what, I'm just going to start making videos because it'll give me something to do during the day. Whether people enjoy them or not, that's entirely up to you guys. I'm just going to be fucking around with a couple of different games and putting some stuff up here because that way I don't drive myself nuts just sitting at home. Now, I'm the only one out of my friends who plays Eve, so I've kind of just been stumbling my way through it. I don't even know why I started playing this. It was literally I just saw it a while back. I tried it, and then you know what? As what I've heard from a lot of people is they tried downloading it, played it, got into it, started trying to make some in-game currency, which is called ISK, and they lost their first ship, and they're like, you know what? Nah, fuck this game. I'm over it. All this, and it's just gonna be. And you know, I went that way too. So what I'm actually going to do first before I continue on with my story is I'm just going to suss out where we're going. So I then eventually did come back to playing it in this lockdown time because I really had nothing else to do, and I was like, you know what, I'm looking for a new game, may as well play this. And I came back in, and what do you know, the exact same thing happened. Had a ship, started trying to make money, got destroyed, but the only difference was I didn't really have anywhere to go after that. So I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to give it another go and see what happens, see if it gets any better from here. And really, I lost another ship straight after that, and I was like, you know what, nah, going to keep going with it. And luckily, I've kind of pieced together a lot of what my sort of game plan for this is, which, if anyone who's watching doesn't know, it was like just a massive MMO sandbox style game where you can pretty much do whatever you want within this universe. You want to be a pirate, you can be a space pirate. You want to go mine some shit, you can go mine some shit. As for what I'm doing, well, by myself I'm not going to really get too far, but I'm just sort of just chilling. I got not too sure what my end game within this is, other than the fact that I've seen a couple of ships that look pretty cool, and I know I want to get enough to buy one of them without a one-off purchase, because what I've found out from my research is you do not fly a ship that you can't afford to lose. So thank you to all the YouTube videos I watched on that. It's been very helpful. That's my big tip, because I think that's where I went wrong the first time I tried to play this. I just was buying ships as soon as I was able to do it. Didn't put any effort into the skills and stuff like that. Didn't go through, like, if we have a look here at the ship tree, if it decides to load, I'm going for, is this one? Yeah, the Harbinger. So you can, if you have a look at requirements here, these are all the skills you need to learn before you can just pilot the ship. What a lot of people don't realize is, or a lot of new people don't realize is, just because you tick these boxes doesn't mean you're going to be able to use the ship to its potential. You have a look here, mastery is where you're going to start really being able to unlock the potential of the ship. Not that I'm expecting to get there anytime soon, since, you know, level 5 mastery is but you know, we'll see how we go. Just building my way towards it, not really rushing. I have managed to get myself a little bit of ISK from just wormholes and looking at different shit in there, which is what we're going to be doing in this little video here. We're going to be sussing out some cosmic signatures. Now, I don't know how everyone else sort of does it. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos and things like that. There's not really an outline on ways to do it correctly and ways not to. Obviously, there's ways that people recommend doing it, which I've sort of based my style upon. But you know, we'll kind of just go suss it out. Sometimes I realise that I don't always think straight away and jump into places that I shouldn't be, and that's how I've kind of lost a couple of ships. But we're going to try and take it a little bit slower today, and hopefully that won't be the case, because if we lose a ship here, I'm going to be very sad. Anyway, so if you're starting it brand new and not gotten to this part yet, I recommend going through all the tutorial, because the tutorial is actually what teaches you a lot of this shit. But the main fitting that you're wanting to when you're scanning down cosmic cosmic signatures, if I could speak English, is you're going to need the core probe launcher one and the probes. That's what we use to scan them all down. Now you see I've got a couple of gas cloud harvesters on there because I was trying to harvest gas, but my last sort of run has kind of left me a little bit scarred since I jumped into two gas fields in different systems, mind you, not even the same system, in two different systems, where I had jumped in and it was just as someone was jumping out and the NPCs were coming there and they almost rickety wrecked me. Luckily I managed to get out there fast enough. Now, I'm not good enough at understanding the game yet to go through and make my own sort of builds and stuff like that. I've kind of just made this out of what I've had. So if we end up finding any relic sites or any data sites, I kind of just hit those up as well because I'm scraping around the bottom looking for some dosh. Anyway, so once you got all those probes, you go find a system like I have, and you'll see over here we've got the cosmic signatures. And those are what we are trying to scan down. And this little box we got on the screen is how we scan them down. So I'm just going to start over on this one. Once you click on it, it just kind of centers it in the screen for you, and you just drag this across here. If by any magical way I end up getting people who aren't just my random 20 friends that watch this YouTube video tuning in who play EVE or something like that, and I'm doing something wrong, feel free to let me know. Because I've literally just started playing it fairly recently and just based off what I've seen online. But anyway, we just center that box up to that X, hit the scan button. We also have over here, this is our directional scanner or D-scan. This is really important for a little bit later when we kind of go into lower security areas which are through wormholes and shit like that. So you'll see up here where we've got the 0.8. That means we are in a more high security area, so we're not having to worry too much of other players just coming around and blowing our ship up to smithereens, which does happen sometimes, but not so much when we have that higher, closer to the number one in there. You'll see once we're looking for a wormhole here. Once we go through a wormhole, most of the time we'll end up in wormhole space, which will end up with a negative number in there, and that's where it's all low sec. And that's where you can kind of find yourself in a little bit of trouble. Anyway, so as we're scanning this down, you'll see down the bottom here, the numbers that we got down here in this bar is how wide our probes scan through and what sort of range. So what ends up happening is we set the little box in the middle there and set it a little bit higher. I normally start around 8 AU, AU's astronomical units. And then just sort of scan down there. Normally what ends up happening is if you have the skills to scan that whatever the cosmic signature is you kind of just work your way sort of down and then figure out, and it'll end up watching this little bar here get up in a higher percentage. As once you get above 25%, yeah, there it is there. Once you get above 25% signal strength, they'll tell you what it is, and then from there you just got to scan it down. Now you need to get 100% before you can actually walk to any of these locations, because that's how it that's the whole point of scanning it down, is so you can find the actual location. If you were scanning down something and you weren't 100% sure where it was, you kind of taking a guess really at where it is, and you wouldn't have that accuracy to get there. This game doesn't even let you do that unless you get that 100% scan down. Now there are some things which this could quite possibly be where because there's a ranking system in all of these, so you'll see once we hopefully scan this down enough to identify it, you'll see a level number next to it. If that level number is too high for your skill, you won't actually be able to pinpoint that location. So if for me, I think I kind of cut out at level 3, even though I don't really see too many level 3 things other than data sites. But for instance, if it was a level 4, there's a combat site, we're not really looking after those, but you see here how it said level 2. If it was a level 4, I wouldn't actually be able to pinpoint that. It would just keep bouncing around depending on which one it would. It probably, last one I had sort of bounced around the 40% for a long time. But anyway, so we are not after the combat sites because we don't have any weapons on our ship. We are all about the mining, gas huffing, and data relic sites. Not so much mining because I don't have any mining stuff on it. But you'll see didn't want that, so we just go straight back to the other one, and we'll broaden our search till we locate something, and then we'll try and scan it all the way down. The reason we're looking for wormholes, generally what ends up happening is if you can find a wormhole and you go through into that space, you find better rewards and better items in there. And you see, first go there, we just scan down another, that 25% on another combat site. So you can get lucky with positioning sometimes. We weren't even trying to scan that one down, and we saw that. But again, like I said, we're not going after combat sites, so we're just going to ignore that one and go continue scanning this. But anyway, so we're going to be looking for wormholes, and what ends up happening is we'll go through that wormhole, we'll get a bunch more cosmic signatures, and what we're looking for are gas sites, relic sites, and data sites. Another one. This is not ideal. I'm hoping they're not all just combat sites. Like I said, I don't know, maybe sometimes you jump into some of these systems and they are just all combat sites. So if anyone watches and knows that answer, feel free to let me know. But we're going to try and scan down these last two. If we don't get a wormhole in this area, we'll probably just jump to one of the next systems and go again. It can be a little bit tedious, but it's by far, at this stage in the game, the easiest way to make ISK. Just because it's like you don't have to worry about going around killing people. As long as you check which sites you're looking at, you don't have to be too worried. Let's bring this down here. And you'll notice up here, this is this is our overview. This pretty much just lets us know everything that's in this sort of area. And where are we at? We're at 14.5%, so hopefully we can get this down, get this to the 25% we're looking for. We can actually zoom in if we wanted to try and get that a little bit more accurate, but I find unless you're down in those sort of last, in those 0.25 AU, you don't really need to worry all too much about that. Just keep it a little bit further zoomed out, that way you don't have to worry about fiddling around with it for too much. You see over here, these are all other players and stuff like that as well, I think. Ah, there we go, that's our wormhole. Oh, it's a level 2 wormhole. So, level 2 generally means we find better stuff in there, by what I've seen online. Again, I could be wrong with this. But with my experience as well, most of the time once I go through a level 2, I generally find better sites, better cosmic signatures that I can scan down on the other side that are a little bit more what I'm looking for. I have been through one level 3 wormhole, but I didn't really get the chance to find anything in there because as soon as I went through, it was packed full of other people, and I did not want to be anywhere near all of them with a cargo full of things. It takes me forever to make money. I'm not going to go sacrifice it that quickly, as I have done in the past, which came back to bite me. Alrighty, scan it down. Let's have a look. Alright, so now that we've got that 100% scan, you'll be able to see that I have the warp to location. So we're going to warp to 10 kilometers for it, drop that down. If we're warping towards another site, like we find a gas cloud, or more so with data sites and stuff like that, if you're not sure with the sites, because some sites can have NPCs guarding them, there is one the one gas site, actually I've got it written down here in my notes. If we have a look over here under Nick's no-nos, the ordinary perimeter reservoir is a gas site. Do not make the mistake of going in there. There are sentry turrets in there that will destroy you. Yeah, it's not fun. I jumped in there with half a cargo full of gas, and that's where the gas stayed, because they destroyed me before I could even get out. Now, down the bottom here, you'll notice I just clicked this. This is my afterburner. I don't know why I haven't made anything better than that at the moment. I think the micro warp drive is what I was after next. I just keep forgetting to once I get back in, or sussing out to see how much it is to buy one. I think that'll be probably one of the next ones. Is that what it does? It just increases your speed. Now, as you see, we've come through the wormhole here. First thing I'm going to do, holy shit, that's a lot of cosmic signatures. First thing I'm going to do is going to go down here and bookmark the location. So we'll go wormhole entrance. Now, we don't want to be easy pickings for other people around here. So as we reload this, I'm just going to check a furthest away point. I'm going to go warp within 100k so I don't jump right on top of it in case there's someone just chilling there. Now you see up here, -1. We're in wormhole space, which means there are no space police here to help us. They're not helping us at all. If someone decides they want to destroy our ship, they can more than well destroy our ship. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and make it as hard as possible. So what we do is we'll warp to the furthest point, And you'll see there I added a bookmark again as we're flying. What that does is it actually bookmarks that spot as we flew past it. So we don't really want to stay around any bodies in space that can be warped towards, because then it makes it just too easy for us to be found. So as you see, holy shit, that was a long way away. What the fuck? Oh, wow. Wow, okay, this is by far the furthest away I've had to travel. Anyway, oh, and you see here on the D-scan, oh, he's just gone. But that's why we're using the D-scan here, is because the D-scan actually gives us a scan if anyone's around in that. I think it's set to 14.3 AU. So it does a big bubble scan to let us know if anyone's nearby. Now you see I've come out of warp here. What I'm going to do straight away, back to this spot here, and I'm going to warp to that. And what that does is it's going to take us back to that bookmark location that we had in the middle of warp. And what that is going to do for us is it's going to leave us literally in the middle of nowhere. So we're not going to make it too easy for people to find. Because as you saw there, I don't know if you saw it before, but there was someone on our D-scan. So if we keep pumping the D-scan button as we go through, we might be able to pick him up again. Now, like I said, we have no weapons on this. We're in a venture, which is mainly just like a cargo ship type thing, so it's not really going to be putting up too much of a fight to anything that we come across. But what I do like, as we reload our probes, is it allows us to hold the most amount of stuff gas-wise, which is what I set this up initially for. But what I found was, as I was trying to get to affording these gas cloud harvesters and the required ISK to learn gas cloud farming, I was doing data sites and relic sites, and every time I scanned down something, it would end up being a gas site. Then once I started trying to gas harvest, every time I tried to scan down something, it would end up being a relic or data site. So what I've done is I've copped these to for the relic and data sites as well. They're going to help us with the hacking side of those if we need to. So if you see, we've launched our probes again, we open the map, and we pop these back open so we can see this again. No, we don't want that. Alright. I'll get it open at one point. Anyway, we're going to open that, open these two down here as well. And what do you know, I'll just chuck the notes open for fun as well. Nope, I'm dumb. Alright, third time lucky. So anyway, we know there is someone in this area, so I'm going to set that to combat. My overview setup, so this will provide me with all the combat possibilities that we have here. As we click on this is not really liking it. Let me close that down and go again. There we go, now we got movement. Let me open all this back up. So this is where the D-scan comes in real handy. So I don't know if you saw it there, but we had another person on our D-scan. So you see this little green bubble here? That is us. That's our our D-scan scan. And what that does, it will tell us if there's anyone within this sort of area here, as long as they're not cloaked or anything like that, because some ships have cloaking and they just want to come and bully you. Now, we have a lot of signatures here, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start with this one and go around here. You'll see over here where I got that little bookmark. If I was to scroll right in on that and put our probe scanner right in on that at 0.25, what it'll actually do is it would, actually I'll show you, it will pinpoint that wormhole that we came in through, because that's the bookmarked spot. And what I like doing is, if I have other possible cosmic signatures around it, what I'll end up doing is I'll just hit this one straight up first. That way I don't accidentally follow a cosmic signature all the way down to here just to be disappointed by the freaking wormhole we came through. So if we narrow that down, get it nice and close, as accurate as possible, so we don't accidentally have to do this twice. We get it all on there, nice and done, and then we just scan that down. What that will do is just pop up that wormhole right where we are, and then what that tells us is whichever two are still left here is not the wormhole, and we're free to scan them down, try and find some gas or data sites. Alright, and you see the wormhole just pops up right there. So now that we know this is not the wormhole we came in from, we will then again try and scan this down. Now you can actually find multiple wormholes in wormhole space, and they can do one or two things by my experience. Is they can either take you out of wormhole space and put you somewhere else. If I show you this is the star map. So this is the whole map that everyone plays on, because there's only one server. So everyone who plays the game is on the map somewhere, and it is massive. So you see here, that's where my home base is. if I come out another wormhole and it doesn't spit me out in wormhole space, I could end up being spat out somewhere up here. And I think the furthest away I've been spat out was, I think it's about 50 jumps to home, and jumps are how you get from solar system to solar system. And that took a long time to get back. Alright, so we've hit that a little bit, so we just follow it over here, get it all lined up. I might fast forward through this a little bit because this can be a little bit tedious, especially with how many sites we got there. So I'm just going to scan this down a bit and then I'll talk to you once we find something that we're looking for. Alright, and we finally scanned one down. Now, that took me like 20 minutes because of all of these. Look how many wormholes. I've not been to too many wormhole sections where they've had this many cosmic signatures, but look how many of them were wormholes before I ended up finding this. Alright, anyway, so what I'd do from here is, if I hadn't seen this one before, I'd be looking it up. Normally I wouldn't warp to 10 kilometers? Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. Normally I'd warp to about 50 because that way I'd be able to have a look, see if there's anyone there, and if there's anyone there I'd warp out straight away. So this could be touch and go because I have seen a couple of people come up on the D-scan, so there could be someone here and I've just warped straight into something and my ship's just going to get absolutely annihilated. Fingers crossed we're not. The thing to keep an eye out, okay, yeah, we're going to get destroyed. Alright, to the sun. To the sun, we're just going straight to the sun. Warp. Warp.
Warp drive active.
Ooh. So, and this is exactly why you wouldn't warp to 10Ks. So, I got lucky there. Got straight away. What ends up happening, right, is other than the one that we had over here in the no-nos list, all of those in wormholes generally won't have any NPCs in them when you warp in. Now, you saw there how they had NPCs waiting for me there. What that normally means is someone's ended up going in there first, and they're on about a 20-minute delay. So once you go in there, you have about 20 minutes before the NPCs will warp in and kick you guys out. Now, I'm not too sure whether I'm going to hang around in this system or not, just because if someone's gone and found them, that means they're generally going to be looking for the gas signatures as well. And that could be bad for me because I could just be warping in after them and copying the NPCs like they are there. And there's still plenty of these cosmic signatures to go. I'm going to have a little scan around and hopefully be back soon. Alright, so we have found a Relic Site, level 2 Relic Site. So normally I wouldn't really be bothered too much by anything that's not in wormhole space when I'm coming out, just because you generally find better stuff in wormhole space. However, I thought, you know what, found a Relic Site. I've quickly looked it up to make sure that I'm not jumping straight into a bunch of sentry turrets or waiting NPCs, which some Relic Site and data sites have. So if you're doing that, always look it up first if you don't already know what it is. That's what the no-nos thing in my notes is for at the moment. I'm currently writing down as I come across them which ones are the ones I can jump, which ones I can't really jump into. But as you see here, when we're coming into the Relic Site, if I go here to the, we'll go combat section just because I got that. Yeah, no, I've got it in the combat. So you'll see here, these 4 dots here are all containers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to orbit this one at 2,500, just in case someone decides to come in. Again, we're we're more of a mid-sec, not really in low-sec, so not too much of a worry. But I'll show you how the hacking system works. So first thing we need to do is lock onto the target. So you can either go right click on that and go lock target, or the easier way is hold control, just click on the target there, it will lock the target. You'll see down the bottom here we have the Relic Analyzer and the Data Analyzer. Depending on which site you use, we're at a Relic site, so we're going to be using the Relic Analyzer. So you'll need to be within that 5,000 meter range for it to work. You see up here we're at 2,821 and orbiting at around about 2,500, so we're not going to drop out of range. But we click that and then it'll bring up this little mini game that you got to play to get it. So the way it works is you're just clicking the nodes as you go along. These ones here will tell you, I believe they tell you that within, so that one there was a 2, so within 2 of these ones there's going to be either a antivirus system, a pickup for us, or some other sort of non-empty node. So you see there's one, so that on one side there is. There are a lot of different ways to go about it. I kind of just, work my way. The safest way I find with it, so you'll see that that's an antivirus system, so that will take your life. You'll see up here the coherence, that's our attack points pretty much. So you'll see we have 60, it has 60, that's its 30, sorry, that's its health points. We have 60 as ours, and then you'll see this little almost Wi-Fi looking signal thing, the strength. That means it does 30 damage, so we'd take 2 shots from that before it hits us. Before it kills us and kicks us out. You have 2 attempts at a hack before the system gets destroyed. You'll see here we got this little spanner, so that will heal us up and give us more health. Whenever doing this, the one true thing that I stick by is if you find a node like this one here, which is surrounded by 6 other ones, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's going to be a safe node. The only time you end up getting an antivirus system in that spot there is if you have the system call directly joined by one of these 6 points. So if you end up finding a antivirus system there, you know that the core is in one of those points. There are other ways that you go about it where you can sort of determine the location of the core before you start, like the Rule 8, I believe it's called, but I'm not going to get into too much detail there because I don't know too much details about it. So I just kind of suss my way around, see what I can find. Obviously with the harder ones it's a bit harder. My OCD kind of kicked in. I knew there was nothing there. It said 5 points and I only had those points available. So what we might need to do at some point is end up taking on these points. But as you see, we found the core, and then we use our attack points on that, and you'll see it fights back, but we had more health than it, so we managed to do that. Next thing we do is we go open crate, or open cargo, sorry. It's going to fly us in close enough to open the cargo, and then we just loot it and put it in our inventory. Now normally you don't get too many good things out of the ones that are just in normal space. You see here we only got 666 ISK. I have a couple of times out of just normal freight gone a few million ISK out of it, but nothing really major. I just thought I'd come and do this one since we've been a little bit dry on finding the sites in the wormhole, and I didn't really want to just jump straight back into scanning down systems in another wormhole. But what we do, unlock target, and we move straight to the next one. So we orbit at 2,500, we'll lock onto that target. My ship's current lock-on range is 16 kilometers. So I have to be 16 kilometers or closer to be able to lock onto a target like that. And I'll just hit that afterburner to get us to move in there a little bit quicker. And you'll see with the hacking there are 3 different levels. The cores kind of show which one it is. You'll see that greenish one we had before is the easiest level, then we have a yellow one for a mid-level, and then a red one for the hardest. The antivirus systems and the amount of nodes you have to go through are the main differences between them all. We'll try and work our way up there, come back around this way, and I've hit both, so I'm going to have to go and fight one of them. What I might do, I know the core won't end up being down here, I doubt it, so I'm just going to kind of suss out here, see if there's anything that's going to help us out. Any health or anything like that, nothing like that, so I'll just go beat the crap out of that one. Just pop our way up to here, see if we can, and we found the core. And we beat that, so let's have a look, see if we actually get anything out of this other than fuck all loot like the last one. Yeah, not much, 19,000 ISK. That's why I normally avoid the ones that are just in normal space. But you know what? Gives me something to do. So let's go and orbit this at 2,500. We should make our way in, so I'll be able to lock onto that one. Like the last relic site I think I did with inside wormhole space, I got about 20 million ISK out of, I believe. So they are worth it when you find them in good areas. Even sometimes here, like you can get sometimes surprised by it. Oops, accidentally probe scanned. Alright, and here we go. Another easy one, so I'm not imagining they're going to be too much of a prize for this one. There it is, the core. Knock that down, go in, suss it out. get disappointed again. Ready? Might not even have anything in it. 207,000. So that's a little bit better, but still not great. So we got a total of 227,000 ISK so far. We unlock that target. We got one more to go. Orbit at 2,500 and get that locked on. Another thing to keep in mind is, even though it says here, you see how it says estimated price, that could all depend on what area you're in. So it's like a live market for all the stuff that gets sold in this game. So it's actually driven by the players on the sort of prices for demand and stuff like that. So you could have something like I've had recently where it said estimated value 4 million ISK, but the area I'm in is only really paying 400,000. So I've kind of trekked out to different spots to try and find where I can sell it for a little bit more. But that all depends on how bothered you are to go about doing something like that. So it's not directly connected to any of those. There's the call right there. Obviously the harder ones generally you'll find some better stuff in, but you know what? We'll go in and have another look. Ha! Yeah. Honestly not too surprised by that though. But anyway, we managed to get through them all. We didn't destroy any of them, which is always good. Nothing worse than destroying one, because well, one, it means you didn't get the mini game done, but two, it also means that even though it wasn't that much money, there's still free money going begging. Alright, so that's that one done, and you'll see it disappears off our little scan down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go jump back towards this gate here, so I have at least a little bit of protection, and then I'm going to go and try and scan down something else. Alright, so didn't end up finding any gas clouds. We'll be doing another video soon on going out and actually finding one. I just had to come back in because I'm heading down for dinner. But that's pretty much just a brief sort of overview of what's happening at the moment. Little introduction to Eve. I don't really know why I'm explaining myself. There's not a whole lot of you who are that interested in it, but I thought I'd do it anyway to keep myself sane. So if anyone enjoyed it, let me know, and I'll be putting some more videos up soon, I guess. Thanks.